up? They gonna plug it in. Hello. Hey, Michelle.
We're twinning.
We are. I was gonna say that. Let me turn my music off. We are. What's up?
How are you?
Just we are twinning. I was gonna say I saw it on your video that you had clear glasses, and I was like, ooh.
Yes.
Girl, what you eating on?
I have a fruit salad. I went a little light. I just wasn't feeling anything heavy, so just made a little fruit salad and some pecans.
Ooh, what's up, y'all? Hey,
Yeah.
everybody.
Hey, Shell.
Hey, y'all. Come on in the room. Come on in the room.
What are you eating?
Same thing from Tuesday.
Oh, right, because you meal prepped.
So, y'all, I meal prep. I don't meal prep. Let me take that back. Skirt. I don't do anything. Okay, I contribute to the idea of like what we're gonna eat.
Right.
So yeah, we cook at the beginning of the week, and because our schedules are crazy, we just eat throughout the lunchtime. So yeah, I have potatoes, broccoli, vegetables, and sausage. I mix and gather.
Now, are you on I know some of you guys are doing keto, right? Or are you on keto?
Just Paige. And because today's workout was tragic, I got some Cheeto Puffs.
Why'd you say it's tragic?
First off, he tried to kill me today, and I was just like,
You wasn't for it.
no, I'm still recovering.
That's good though. Like, I think that's been my issue in the past with like working out. I never had a real trainer, and the only time I felt challenged was when I was playing basketball. And so if it's the same thing over and over, I get pretty bored, where it's just like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
So just finding that, okay, now it's time to increase, but not too much.
Yeah.
So
I
need to come over where you at.
Yeah, the only way I can work out though is if I have a trainer. So like this whole like working out by myself is not the business. So I need a trainer. Eric said pass the strawberry, bro.
They're so good.
Speaking of strawberries, I wanted to make yogurt, granola, strawberries, blueberries.
Yeah.
They ate all the yogurt in here.
They did what?
Ate all the yogurt. So I couldn't do it.
Right.
So we got some people in here. I want to introduce y'all. If y'all don't know who Leia is my sister from another mother. Okay. I don't know, like how many years ago did we actually meet?
We met through Y&R, right? I don't remember.
No. So, and I say it's interesting because I say that about a lot of people who I'm really cool with now, is like when it's a God thing, you can't put a date on it. Like you don't know what happened. Because I say that about Paige and Ashley. Like I don't know when we actually became cool, because like I know I knew Paige in college, but I don't know like when we actually became like cool. But she said Y&R, y'all. If y'all don't know what Y&R is, go follow Y&R. We are on a podcast radio show together.
Yes.
Along with 3 other guys.
Yes.
So we're the only 2 ladies on the show. What's that like, Lay?
It's funny. I've always been, most of the friends I had growing up were guys, so it's natural for me. They're my brothers. It is interesting to hear their views on things sometimes, but it's fun. I love it. It's our brothers. We butt heads, but it's like fun. We're all goofy. We can take whatever it is in love. And that's one of the things I appreciate. And even though you and I are both women on the show, we still have differing views sometimes, or we're just in different places in life and we've gone through different roads. So I really just love the diversity we have within the circle of young Christian millennial. So I love it.
So Leah and I are the only women on the show. I'm the oldest. I think you're the youngest.
I am. Wow.
It's like the dynamic is interesting on the show. We should type in the yeah, and just for a little while, and before we get into talking about the topic at hand, and then we'll pin yours. Like your
that's it.
Dang, let me see. Here we go. Pin comment. So if y'all haven't followed YNR Radio, go follow YNR Radio. We have you can listen to our shows on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
Spotify.
Yes.
And then we have a YouTube channel. So
yes, we have a YouTube channel. We're coming up with some content soon. So
yeah.
But we really love when you guys join us on Facebook when we do go live.
Yeah.
It's really fun, engaged. Also, we just started a YNR community group, and it goes down in that group, okay?
Go on Facebook and join our community group. We talk about everything in our YNR community group.
Yes.
What's up, Jalen? Hey, everybody. If y'all just
let's shout out some people.
Yeah, what's up, Jalen?
I see Kamaya.
I see. Hey, Allison. Hey, Rob. Sheila, Tova, Eric, Bree.
Yes.
Hey, who else in here?
I love it.
Everybody in here. Okay. What else was I gonna say? So, y'all, if y'all just tuning in, y'all don't know what lunch with Lauren is. We just come in here, we eat lunch, we snack it up, we talk about whatever y'all want to talk about, but we do have some topics. One of them is starting something new, but we'll get into that like in the meaty part of this, because it's a very important topic. Most of us either have dived into starting something new like head first. Some of us may be afraid to start something new. But we just gonna get into it because I think Leah, I look up to her, even though I call her like my sister, little sister, and sometimes big sister, because she inspires me in so many areas. She's done it in so many different areas and levels. She's also like the creative, she's the brilliance, beauty and brains behind the lens of those pictures on my Instagram page, y'all. The picture on the flyer for Lunch with Lauren, the picture of me in the orange dress. And I told her, she did those, y'all. I told her I want to like post more, but I don't really like posting pictures of myself.
That's all right.
So I'm learning to like post more pictures. Like I post on my story all day long because those go away in 24 hours.
Yeah.
But posting on my page is like new for me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You're doing good though. You're doing it.
So yeah, that's new. See, starting something new.
Yeah.
Starting something
Thanks,
new.
Tova.
Yeah. Tova, and like I told Leah, like a lot of people have been sending me messages like, yo, who took the picture? He's bomb. But we're about to get it. We're gonna get to that later. Let's get into that tonight, because I said on Tuesday that we needed to watch Married at First Sight.
Yes.
Girl, that's my class. We're in it. Girl.
Right. Look, I have actual tea, so.
Girl, if y'all don't watch Married at First Sight,
listen.
Catch up. You only 3 weeks behind.
And it's not just for the girls.
Right.
He's gotten into it a little bit.
Listen, Sheila, I think you watch it too. I see the OMG in the comment section.
Yes.
Listen, I don't even know where to start.
So favorite. Let's start with who's your favorite couple. I think I still don't know all their names. I only really get the names if they're really terrible people. So I remember Chris for sure. But is it Brianna and what's his name?
That's my favorite.
Yeah, they're pretty cool so far. You know, they seem like they got a...
Second runner-up is Eric. Eric and well, just Eric. I just like Eric. Virginia.
Just Eric.
Just Eric.
Yeah. Okay.
Eric to me, like, I think he's low-key black. Like, he
That's funny.
you know, he spells his name black, number one. Like, it's Eric with a K.
Yeah.
He gutta on the inside. Like, he, you know, he's all smiley, and I'm gonna need Virginia to let that man breathe. Number one, it's still COVID, and she is all in my man's mouth. You just met them. But
wait, okay, which one is... Okay, Eric isn't the one that's similar to... Which one is Eric?
He's the one that's always smiling, and he's the one who married the one that
is
has...
she 26? The one he married, is she younger? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Sheila said Chris is trash, and so are his parents.
Dang. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She was making excuses for him. She said, but you know, was he drinking though? I said, Mama.
That still don't mean nothing. So let's talk about, should we talk about last night's episode? Because some people didn't watch it.
We can talk about it, because I think even if we talk about it, it still wouldn't do it any justice, right? I mean,
and honestly, you wouldn't want to see it anyways. It made my stomach hurt.
And I was so cringy. Like, me and Alicia came and watched it, and Ashley, we were all like, we couldn't even look at the TV. Like, it was hard to watch, and it was even harder to listen to.
Yeah. It was hard to watch, one, because just to see that happen to someone, but another reason was because it brought back memories of someone I used to deal with, and I was just like, this is so familiar, and
Same.
It's ridiculous.
Same. Yeah, it was triggering, and it was like, I think, and too, I watched the Unfiltered episode before, where they bring on, if you don't know what the Unfiltered episode is, they bring on the cast members to watch the clip from the previous episode. And I was a little bothered that they brought Paige on to watch clips of Chris say that he thought she was ugly.
Right.
And I cringed, and I was like, why would y'all make her sit there and like watch that scene?
Yeah. So let's tell them a little bit about it. Let's give some more context to it. So obviously, if you didn't catch it yet, there's a couple. It's a black couple. There's Paige is the woman, and then there's Chris, who's the guy. So in the previous episodes, he was just like, from my perspective, he was very sexually driven or physically driven. And he made that known, like just the comments and asking her. Now, they had only known each other for a few hours at this point. It was after the wedding. Just asking her, is she on birth control and things like that. Just stuff that you'd never heard of on the show. I've never heard of that on the show, like people being so forward. And then he had a conversation with her friends at the reception and basically saying she's not really his type, that he wasn't really attracted to her. So that's just some backstory on who Chris and Paige are. Paige is so sweet. She seems very hopeful, like a hopeless romantic. Yeah. So now, Laura, you fast forwarded to last night's episode.
Yeah. So, Yahida, we're talking about Married at First Sight, for those who just came back in the room. So last night, they got married. Now they're going to meet the parents. So they got married, going to meet the parents individually. So Chris is supposed to go meet Paige's parents, but we actually don't see it happen last night.
No. And I didn't even realize it until you guys said it in our group message. I was like, you know what?
Yeah. And then, so that didn't happen, but Paige goes to meet Chris's parents. And so Paige reveals that Chris ghosted her the next morning when he was supposed to go get them breakfast. Right. So Chris ditches her for hours. Yeah. Come to find out, Chris said he had an anxiety attack, a panic attack, and says, well, I had a panic attack because I realized I'm not attracted to you. Sips tea, guys. Hold on. Moment of silence, because my heart would have dropped and I would have packed my bags and left, okay?
Now, granted, he could have had a panic attack. because he wasn't attracted to her, and he's like, I shouldn't have did this. But like, my guy, you knew that last night, or you knew that that was a possibility anyways. When you sign up for the show, that's a huge possibility.
Okay, I gotta get to this one part because the Detroit, because okay. Then I'm gonna hurry up because
Okay.
gotta,
Right.
So so then Paige goes to meet the parents. She was like, yeah, y'all, you know, this is really bothering me. You know, he told me that he wasn't attracted to me, which I don't really understand because I gave myself to him, you know, twice. Oh, twice, y'all. You give your okay. Y'all digest that part. I'm not even about to go into that. And so, but she tells the parents that. So then the parents talks to Chris, like, Chris, you really did this with her and you're not attracted to her?
The dad was so funny. He was like, so explain that to me. Let me hear what you have to say for that. I was like, please.
So Chris goes back to Paige and was like, I don't understand. Chicago, we don't do that. It's a code.
In Chicago, he said in our culture, where I'm from, in Chicago, we don't really do that. We don't talk about sexual activity and stuff.
She's too nice because I would have been like, and where I'm from in Detroit, you gonna get these paws. You gonna get these
now
paws.
Is there some validity to what he's saying? Do you think there's some validity to the side of we don't really talk about that? Do you see why he would be uncomfortable with her talking about that with his parents?
No.
One, I don't see it because it's not like she went into detail. And that wasn't the main topic of the conversation. It was just his attractiveness and him being attracted to her and how he responded. And she needed help. She was like, I need help. Help me.
Help me, please.
And then the two, that's a part of the show. You that's a vulnerable side you have to kind of open up to. Every couple has done it. Whether it was this soon in the show or later on, they ask you, even in the, anyways, I was just like, my guy. And then, so basically he made himself the victim. He kind of had a little tantrum.
Baby boy was crying, okay? Sheila said, yeah, absolutely not, to answer your question. And she was like, he did nothing but talk about sex in the rest of the interview. So he was just exaggerating. He was playing the victim. So anyways, Paige was really sweet because she let him talk so much. And I just would have stopped him in his tracks and was like, hold on, do you want to fight or not? Like, what do you want to do? Like, we can set it off right here.
Now, I have a question about Married at First Sight, because we were watching it and Eric was like, she's just going to stay? So now, what are the rules with that? Like, how do they have to stay until the end, or are there some outstanding circumstances that would cause for them to not have to stay? Like, do you know the rules or the...
No, and I do follow an account on Facebook. On Instagram, and I wonder if she's going to like reveal certain parts of the contract because she did randomly get her hands on the contract, and so there is a contract that they have to sign, and I wonder if it says something like that. So I'm gonna inbox her and ask the girl who got the inside.
You should.
But that's a good point. I mean, at this point, I want the show to sue me. Because I would rather take a lawsuit over more emotional distress and, just emotional damage. Because, oh, really? Sheila said a few seasons back, a woman called it quits right after the process began.
Wow. Okay, well, I guess it is possible.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're
pretty sure there's some, not necessarily consequences, but some
legal ramifications.
Yeah.
Because they probably got money riding on it, right? All the hotels. Yeah. Their,
and that's like
production. They have to pay production. They have teams assigned to these couples for the duration of the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, we're gonna leave Married at First Sight alone. If you ain't watching it, you missing out. Go catch up if you ain't been watching it. So the next time you tune in to Lunch with Lauren, you can talk about it with us because I'm invested, as you can tell.
Also, if you don't before I was watching recaps of it, I watched The Bald and the Beautiful. They do recaps on YouTube, and that was hurtful. I knew the whole show without even having to watch it. So if you're one of those people and you're like, or you don't have access to it, just go on YouTube and people recap it all the time. What happened?
Then he's talking about she gonna take emotional distress and not the lawsuit. Girl, get you a
That
good lawyer. Ain't nobody gonna call me. I will be your lawyer.
yeah, because
I'm
this
not
shit's only not even 24 hours and he acting like that. Damn.
right. What else was I gonna say? Okay, so Leia,
Yes.
where are you now?
Physically?
Physically, like where are you at right now? Because we're about to talk about starting something new. We have a question. Somebody sent in a question, so I want to like hop into that topic. But I'm gonna pin the new topic real quick so people know what we're talking about.
Yes, I am in Brooklyn, New York.
Ooh, tell us how you got
the greatest cities ever.
No, for real, it is.
So yeah, I moved. My husband and I moved here January 1st. Yay. On the first day of the new year. We drove here.
Sheesh.
Packed up our stuff and drove here. It was great. It is great.
So how was that move like scary? Was that something that weighed heavy? Were you, because I remember the day you told us and you were like hesitant, and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? Yeah, tell us about that decision.
That's such a loaded question. I think definitely a little, not necessarily hesitancy, but just I'm a person that the unknown really kind of tugs at me when making decisions, like not knowing what's on the other side. But still within that, knowing that there is some security and some safety, but still not knowing what's on the other side. And so I had never moved. The only place I had moved to, I'm from Detroit originally, so I moved to Grand Rapids to go to school. And I remember when I first moved there, just crying. The first week, I think, at night, just crying. So I've never been a huge person of like change or just uncomfortability or just the unknown. So definitely that was one of the biggest things, the unknown. And also although I don't have this huge community, I do have a community. And so that was super important to me when changing or just when the topic came about, just having to rebuild that, especially during COVID. Like, yeah, what are you doing? How are you building community? Some of us are even struggling to maintain the community that we already have.
Right. Yeah.
I've heard that so much. People are just not talking to people, the same people, just for different reasons. I mean, a lot of people are focused on their self or just their livelihood. But anyways, yeah. So I definitely was a little, I don't want to say fearful, just the unknown was really always on my mind, not knowing what it'd be like, not knowing if I'd enjoy myself. Really, the community aspect was huge, leaving people behind. And then also another piece of it that was always on my mind was explaining it to people. So we live in Brooklyn, but we also live in Grand Rapids. Yeah. I was just there 2 weeks ago. I'll be back there in 2 more weeks for projects and things like that. So even explaining that to people and still being able to do all that I do, right, and people not really, like, we have clients based in Grand Rapids. So yeah, just even thinking about that and just making sure people had the understanding and also being able to, I felt like we had to do not a ton. And it wasn't from people that, I won't say they weren't relevant, but they had no impact on us really. They had a lot to, they were just not sure, right, about how it was going to work. So even being able to constantly having to, not necessarily defend, but just having to explain it. And usually the people that aren't believers like me and Eric, they don't understand. Yeah. And so just having to kind of explain it to ourselves or try to convince people, that was kind of draining a little bit, but definitely a little fearful of just the unknown. I'll say that was huge for me, just not knowing what was on the other side. But deep down inside, I knew. It's just like, yeah, sometimes we let certain thoughts creep in, or just, yeah, sometimes we let things creep in that shouldn't be there when we already know the outcome. Like, I get here, I make it work. Like, I connect with people however I have to, whether it's Instagram, which I have done, going to coffee shops and connect with people, and just really being intentional about building that community and really affecting my own situations and circumstances. I think a lot of times we feel like we don't have control over some things, but a lot of the choices we make affect our reality. So
yeah, that's good.
that was a lot. Sorry.
You good. If y'all just tuning in, we're just talking to Lay. She just told us about how she got to Brooklyn. So she's actually living in Brooklyn and living in Grand Rapids. And if you have a question for me or Lay,
Yes.
hit the little question box. It looks like a little talking box. Hit the question box right there. Drop the question.
That's so cool.
Okay. And then pop it up and we can answer your question. We already have 2 questions in there, so we'll get to those, later on in the show and talk about it. But go ahead and pop them in whenever it comes to mind. We've got so much time to talk. So I asked you on because I quote unquote starting something new. Mm-hmm. I thought about doing lunch with Lawrence in December. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, dang, it's the holiday. Ain't nobody finna be on social media. And then I was like, January, I ain't doing nothing in January. And then I was like, February, this would be a great time. Yeah. But I'm also afraid. Ain't nobody about to be on here. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody about to come watch, mm-hmm. listen, whatever. But I'm going to do it afraid anyway. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to just be authentically me. Mm-hmm. That's my whole... That's me in a nutshell, and that's what I'm always going to be on anything I'm a part of. So what is your, tell me about starting something new. What does that look like, feel like? I just said, starting something new for me is scary. I shared in one of my previous blogs, I think it was 2019, how I had a vision to bring a group of women together because making friends was always hard for me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, but I want to be around a group of women who believe in God and want to go deeper together. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to create a space. So I did it and people came. And then I was like, oh, that was fun, but it was a lot of work. And I don't know if I can sustain it. Do it again. And people were like, we'll be getting back together. And I was like, I don't know.
Was I around for this?
You were around. I don't think you made it because she be booked and busy.
Oh my God.
So I don't think you came.
I probably did make it.
It was a good number. It was 15 or 16 people that came. It shocked me, girl. Okay, I got pictures to prove it. Oh, but it was a nice little number. Yeah, and I wrote about it in my blog about how successful it was, and then I was just like, but it just wasn't the time, and it probably wasn't even supposed to be my idea. Maybe God gave it to me to pour into somebody else, to go, support someone else's organization
or show someone else that it's possible and it's doable.
Right. So I was like. That, so I wrote about it in my blog about just being true and transparent, that starting something new doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the one to birth it. It could just mean starting something new in you. It could mean rebirthing something, whatever. So yeah, does anything resonate? Yeah, just talk to me about what starting something new meant. When I asked you to be a part of it, what were you what the heck?
Oh, first of all, thank you for having me. I think I'm your first guest, right? Am I?
Yeah, you are.
That's super cool. And I'm super honored, first of all, to think that for you even wanting to have me on here. Yeah, I think it's super dope. I'm so proud of you. And this is going to be great. Not that you haven't been doing it we were having the conversation. This has been a thing. You've always been going live and just having lunch with Lawrence, but you're being more intentional about it. And I think that's important. Motives and intention are important. You have mentioned a piece where you were like, nobody's gonna come on here, and it's why are you doing it? So that people can see you and so that people can come on. I think that's really important when starting something new, to check your intentions, because a lot of times our intentions, our fears aren't based on our intentions. So you're fearful that people aren't going to come on, but that doesn't align with your goal and your intention. So why is that even in existence? We were also talking, I won't go in too much depth about this particular thing, but we were talking, Laura and I were talking the other day about a venture that I'm about to start. And it's super scary, but I think I need to get out of my own way. I think we all need to get out of our own way sometimes, and whether that be letting God, pour into you and just let God have full reign over that, or whatever it is you believe in. I'm not sure what you believe in, but even getting out of your own mind, like, I think that's a huge piece, and something that I've been struggling with over the past, it's been a minute, probably too long, probably like a year, just been going back and forth on things and really having to continuously check myself about just those fears that don't really align with my goals and what God told me and with my vision. So I think that's something big that I've been struggling with, but I'm grateful to have people around me that that's also helpful too when starting something new, having people around you that are wise, can push you and really slap you in the head and say, girl, what are you talking about? So that's really helpful. Eric is he's a business. He's been an entrepreneur since he was about 6 probably. He's had business. People only know Carvin. People that are just far away, they only know Carvin stories, but he's actually had a few businesses. So just being around him and his wisdom in the industry and his boldness and his fearlessness and his faith is a big part of that. And so that's really great to be able to have him to lean on and just nudge me in the right direction sometimes when I need it. And even conversations with Lauren, conversations that we have on Y&R, people that are constantly empowering you, but also like being wise about it. So that's something that I've been clinging on to, and also just doing it. There was how you always have a list and it's just never getting done. Like, just do it. Like, what do you need to do to make that happen? Write out what you're trying to do, what you need to do to make that happen, and just really knock that out. I think that's been my focus over the past couple of weeks, because I have all I need to do what I need to do. And so it's really just getting out of my own way.
Right. Yahida said, if you build it, they will come.
Yes. And if it's supposed to be a thing, and if you're doing it for people to come, that's like going to be your main focus.
Yeah. And then that's not sustainable either, right? Because then that's what you're measuring it against. And when they don't
people
come,
go like this. People are like this.
Then when they don't come, you're gonna be discouraged. Like, I've gotten on my live lunches with Lauren, and it's been like, it's literally me and one other person talking. It's like me, so because Instagram, you unless they ask to go live with you, you talking to yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
right. And then
I be talking to myself, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
And then specifically talking about lunch with Lawrence, the cool thing about this is people can go back and look at it. So it may not be for like in this moment. Like, people may not. Let's look at the reality. Some people are at work. Some people are doing other things. Some people just don't know. So making it accessible and just really looking at the facts and the realness. Like, people can come on and watch it later. Yeah. If we're being logistical, that's the truth.
Yeah, that's so true. All right, we got these questions here.
Okay, I can't see the questions, so
you can.
Oh, where?
You see them?
No.
It says,
I think if I don't follow them, or if they're not, if they're private, I don't think I can see.
Oh, it says, I don't know how to focus on the money when stepping out to do something new. How do you enjoy the work you do? So, Denise, are you still on here? I hope you can clarify.
Oh, I think I know, Denise. Okay, where the questions at?
So it's just in the questions box. It's, if you can't see it,
that's okay. You could just read them. But I know Denise. Read the question again. I
don't know how to focus on the money when stepping out. I don't know how to not focus on the money when stepping out. How do you just enjoy the work you do? Right. So how do you do it without, like, how do you enjoy it without focusing on the money? Oh, there you go. How do you not focus on the money? I was reading it wrong. My bad, girl. My bad.
Mm-hmm. I think it depends on what it is, because there are ventures that some people start where they just want to make extra money. But I think if you're truly passionate about it, then, so for example, I can't count the number of photo shoots I've done without having money. 1, because I was passionate. 2, because I wanted to get better. And 3, because I want to see, like, I love people's faces when they see how they look through a camera. So check your motives. Like, if it's your motive to make money, then maybe that should be your focus. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because there's nothing wrong with a little extra income. And so if that is your focus, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But how I not focus on money, and I think that's kind of my problem. I've been checked by Eric multiple, not checked, but he's kind of been.
He checked you. He be checking you.
Because sometimes I'm just such a giving person. And so, Denise, I think I'm a little opposite from you, where I don't think enough about the money, and I don't think about my worth as it pertains to that, and that even exchange that we could have. But yeah, I say when you're passionate about it, and maybe you need to challenge yourself just to do a couple of, give somebody with some things, you know, like really develop a love for that. I think that's where I've never done anything just for money, really. So it's really hard to speak to that. I'm always passion driven and relationship driven. I'm noticing I'm very relationship driven. If someone needs something,
But Leia, can I interject from the
go
outside?
ahead. Yes. Yes.
What I've seen is all of those times that you've like given, you've been
back.
It's coming back though,
it's
right?
Coming back.
I've seen you sow into other people, right? So like all those quote unquote, you said free.
It wasn't really free.
It wasn't really free, right?
Right.
You did it to improve on your skill, right? To grow. And in turn, those people on the other side of the lens was like, oh my God, this is great. Like they didn't see you as like trying to get better. They already saw you as the professional. They were like, this is great. I got my, got a photo shoot from like one of the best. Like, and you saw it as like, man, this isn't some of my best work, but I get better. And you know what I'm saying? And then you're literally getting inboxes, like your inbox is flooded right now. You're trying to figure out, how you're going to balance it all. And you're living in 2 cities. Like God is
Listen, I'm so glad you mentioned it, because sometimes I'm in it so much that it's like second nature. It's like, God, that's just how, that's just how it works. But that is so true. Like a lot of things that I've just been offering myself up, it comes back. I have no lack. Even if I wasn't living where I live, I still have no lack. I've never went a day without knowing where my next meal was coming from. Like just stuff that y'all don't even know about, okay?
Yeah. So, all right. And then here's another one.
Okay.
I'm gonna read this one right, Denise, this time, because I got the last. How do you allow yourself to dive into work if it's a lot of time but not very profitable right now? Kind of going off of the question surrounded around money. How do you allow yourself to dive into work if it's a lot of time but not very profitable?
I think there's just sacrifices. That's a huge part people don't see about entrepreneurship and just starting your own business and really being, freelance. It's a lot of sacrifices. Especially if you're new to this, it's not an overnight thing. It's really not. And there's constantly going to be levels where you have to do that sacrifice. So, I think that's really what it is, sacrifice. Whether that means you have to be up at a little later than you would to knock out a couple of photo shoots or just to practice, then that's what you got to sacrifice. That's what I find really is rewarding on the other side. And eventually turns into profitability, because a lot, like, you can say you're a photographer, but if you don't look like a photographer or people aren't reaching out to you, there's obviously some growth that needs to happen. So, or you don't view it profitable, there's obviously some growth that needs to happen. And I think a lot of sacrifice comes into that. So, like I said, and I think I'm structuring this a little bit because I know kind of what Denise is talking about, because I know Denise. So, like just doing a lot of things that may not bring you that profit, and then knowing that it will eventually get there. I think you're pretty new to this, and so just from a person that's been there, it's going to take time, and you really have to show yourself, because it is a competitive industry. We all know somebody that's do photography, okay? And so, just really showing yourself and putting yourself out there, making it be known. There was a time where I had never posted photos. People didn't even know I was a photographer. And so really making it known, if it's something you genuinely want to dive into, people should know. Like when they hear Leia, there's 5 things that probably pop into your head. And probably one of those are photography. So just making it known, really making it your thing.
That's dope. If y'all have more questions, drop it in the little question box. But that's dope, Leia. I'm rooting for you, Denise. I did follow you, so I'll be looking
See?
for work from you. So this is super dope. Any other questions for Leia?
Or Lauren?
Ain't nobody asked me no questions, girl. I'm just here. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
But the Image Awards just released their list of nominees. NAACP Image Awards just released their list of nominees. And when I looked at the list of nominees, I felt some kind of way. Not in a way of like, oh, this list is whack.
Right.
Or, so-and-so got robbed. But in a way of like, yo, this list is like full of some really dope people. And why can't we all win?
Right.
And in some way, to be nominated is a win. Yes. But to actually win the particular category is like the win, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you win, like the category itself is a competition.
Yeah.
And when you compete, so there's a winner.
Yeah.
And then there are losers.
Right.
And in any competition, you have people who walk away feeling like I'm not good enough.
Right.
And we've seen it with Tiana Taylor, right? But not obviously with the NAACP Awards.
Was that for Grammy, right? That was for Grammy.
I think that was with the Grammys, where she was just like, well, I'm going to hang it up. I'm retiring, right? The industry isn't kind to the culture, the Black culture already. And here we have the NAACP Image Awards specific to the Black culture. Mm-hmm. So I have a proposition. Why can't we just like honor our Black entertainers? Why do we have to have a replica of the Grammys? Why does it have to be a replica of, why do we have to have a replica of all of these award shows? Why can't we create something like of our own? You know what I mean? Like,
that's such a tough question. Let me ask you, if you were an actor or an entertainer on such a large scale, let's also note that even within the NAACP Image Awards, there's still it's still a circle of people that are even outside of that circle. Like, you remember how people freaked out because Beyonce showed up, because she hadn't been there in years, because that's just under her pay grade.
Which is a problem.
Exactly, it's a problem. But how would you feel if you were on that level as let's say Issa Rae, or actually let's just say, I don't know, Tracee Ellis Ross, and you were in the industry? Would you want awards? Would you want?
Here's what I would want. Here's what I would propose, because I didn't even say what my proposition was.
Oh, I thought you said just to honor.
I didn't say it, but I didn't describe it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I would want to be like, say I'm a comedian.
I'm dead.
I'm a comedian though, guys.
Yes, she is.
I'm a comedian. I'm gonna get to your question, Traniece. I see it in the box. I'm a comedian. Okay, and I'm like in nominees for a Comedian of the Year or whatever. That's not a real whatever, right? And I'm in there with Kev on stage, blah 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 blah, okay. Whatever. Okay. And I would want it to be like, instead of it's not a category, it's like, these are the top 5 comedians of 2021. Like, these are the 5 comedians of 2021. Like, let that be that. And then for 2022, my goal would be to make the top 5 list of 2022. And then in my
so you're still working towards an accomplishment, an award, and a plaque,
No, I'm still working toward an
acknowledgement,
right? It's not necessarily like, I don't want to be like I don't want to step on my peers.
You are though. That's the same thing.
Kind of, but not really.
Because you know that even
we're all
with
eating
that,
a piece of
after about 5 years, they ain't gonna have no more comedians. It's gonna be a recycle or like, and then also, also some people just aren't there yet. Like they don't, I don't want to say they don't deserve, but I think there's a lot of work that goes into
He said, what about 10? So 6 through 10, it'll give them something to work toward, right? It's like a ladder. It's like you're right. It creates like it's like I need to work towards something. I think it increases the threshold, so to speak, right?
I see what you're saying, and I do see how it can be
winning.
Yeah. I still view it as, even being nominated, I still view it as a huge accolade.
But they don't are beating themselves up. They gonna be on drugs. They gonna overdose. They gonna be out.
Oh, that is true. About the people, thing is, people don't act like that about the NAACP Image Awards, but they act like that about the Grammys, the Oscars.
But what they do is they boycott the NAACP Awards. They don't show up. They end up not supporting their own. Like Beyonce, not coming no more. This is beneath me. And then it's like, what's the point of even having the NAACP Awards to begin with?
That's a whole nother topic. Because we were talking about that on Y&R, about how we don't see certain entertainers. Eventually, they stop showing up to those smaller award shows, and we were just having a conversation of like, why? And I know sometimes they're pretty busy, but every year, the show is going to be at a certain time, or just like, I don't know. And we were just talking about, why is that a thing, and trying to imagine if we were in their spot. But that's hard to imagine though, because we're not in their spot. But just trying to develop a reason as to why they eventually stop showing up, and I just don't know.
They haven't been common long enough, like us, okay? Because if I had every opportunity to get cute and wear a dress, I would do it. They haven't been common long enough.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, because like Beyonce been a star since she was
she's sick of it. She been getting dressed up since she was 14. She like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up, give y'all something to think about, marinate on. Traniece asked me a question here.
Sure.
Lauren, what are your passions? Leah, what are my passions? And y'all, if y'all need to go check out this one episode when it's released on Y&R.
We literally sat in the basement and was just like, kind of really just uplifting and pouring into each other and just affirming. I think relationship building. Let's just say relationship building. I think that's what it was, because it's really valuable when the people around you know who you are, know what you're working towards, can describe you, and can really pour into you and say what they see in your future. So,
yeah.
So you said, what are your passions?
Yeah.
Lauren is passionate about advocating for people. If you ever have a conversation with her about like schooling, or just like intersectionality, being like a Black woman in the workplace, or just things like that, she's very passionate about that, advocating for people that don't really always have the ability to, or just things that should be changed, things that should be different or normalized. She's really passionate about that. She's a huge creative. She likes talking and just thought-provoking and just having those type of conversations. Yeah.
So she's I'm cracking up. So my passions is definitely being the voice for the voiceless. I'll probably, so tune in on Tuesday. Since this was a question, I'll dive into this on Tuesday for Lunch with Lauren. But I'll share a little bit more about my background, because I realize not a lot of people know a lot about me.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about this on Tuesday. But so being a voice for the voiceless, and being like true and authentic, authentic to myself, like, right? Like, being on social media is like so much pressure to be somebody you're not.
Yes, perfect. Like, or what the world views as perfect.
Right. And that's not me. To my point earlier about posting pictures of myself, like, I struggled to even post the pictures that you see on my page, because I was like, So, yeah, like this is the normal me every day. This is what you get. So,
And that's okay.
Yeah,
I feel like we need to dive deeper into this because I hear this so much. We even have listen, we talk about everything on Y&R, but we even had this conversation as a group on Y&R and just social media and why we aren't really we say we want to do these things, but we don't really dive in it all the way for these roadblocks that I wouldn't say we've put there, but I think it's fear-based. Or just comparison, all those things. But so why now? What made you now decide to start posting? Like, what's the difference between this time last year and now to where you want to post, like on social media? Like, what made you more comfortable?
Confidence. I didn't have any last year. I'm just being honest. I think, yeah, it was, I mean, I'm maybe people probably thought I had confidence.
I can see that.
And
I think we even talked about, sorry to cut you off, but we even talked about how people perceive us. One of our castmates was like, I don't want to post with my gym shoes because I don't want people to think, I'm like vain or conceited. Listen, I don't care. If you follow me, I can be authentic and still show you what I love and show you me. If me happens to have all these shoes, that's me. And at the end of the day, people are going to think what they want to think. And regardless, they're going to develop assumptions. So why live in that? If they're going to do that regardless, why not do what you want, And
it was like, I took it like, folks ain't really here for me. Like, why does anybody care? And then it was just like, Lauren, it's not about you.
Yeah.
People maybe need to hear about, people need to hear about your experiences. People need to, learn through you.
Yeah.
So remove your exterior so they can get to your heart.
Yeah.
And learn. Because, I've been through some stuff. Which you go to my blog. But not right now, because my blog.
In a couple weeks.
Go in a couple weeks. Okay, I'm redesigning my website. Just don't go right now. But yeah, so I'm blogging too. And that's where I'm usually the most transparent and just through my writing. But yeah, that's
because the pictures only half the story.
Okay.
Really?
And too, yeah. So if you go to my IGTV, there's one video on there where I talk, it's Provision and Grace is what it's called. It's titled. And that's I share a story about me leaving a job, a really good job for no job at all. And I was unemployed for 2 months. And I kind of share a snapshot of that story. Yeah. And yeah. So I shared that story and that's where I got the most feedback ever. And then that's when I realized, oh, it's
you got something to say.
I got something to say, and people actually want to hear it. So then that's kind of what catapulted the blogging and me actually posting. So yeah, I got a job. I'm not employed.
Just want to put that out there.
I'm supposed to pay.
That's funny.
So, but Leia, this is great. Would you come back on soon with me one day?
Yes. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about, but
girl,
oh man,
we're gonna talk about. We forever gonna talk about Mathis.
Come back on here and talk about Insecure.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about Insecure.
But yeah, for sure, I'd come back on.
Okay.
This is my first live. Yeah, this is my first time going live. So
really,
yeah, I don't be talking to the people.
Well, I hope this was a great live and you enjoyed it.
I did.
Yay.
I hope our viewers enjoyed it.
I hope they did too, girl. But hey, if once I post this, y'all share it. It'll be on my IGTV. I'll post it on my story.
What can we expect next Thursday?
Next Thursday, who's gonna be on? I think it's gonna be I think Evan.
Nice. You just got the whole cast of Y&R on there, huh?
Hey, I'm looking right now. Next, so every Thursday there'll be a guest. Next Thursday it is Evan. Oh wait, it is Evan.
Nice.
It's Evan. So
what are you guys gonna talk about?
Dreams.
Nice.
Get it? Dream.
Yes, okay. I got it. Thank you. You'll be here all week.
That's right. That's right. But yeah. So thanks, Leia.
Thank you.
Everybody, thanks for staying and eating lunch with us.
Wow, that was a whole hour.
I know. I'm about to go back to work now.
Yeah, I haven't. I've done stuff, but it doesn't feel like I have.
Are you eating a Twizzler? What's happening? Is that candy?
No, it's a pecan.
Oh, okay. Well, my trainer would be happy. I didn't eat no cheese puffs, so.
Well, good. It's a great thing.
All right, girl.
Talk to you later.
See you later. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.